Hello, and welcome back to the LovePod Podcast. On today's episode, we're discussing Love is Blind Season 6, Episodes 7 through 9. Today's episode, we have a special guest. Olivia Kay from the Facebook group is here to discuss the episode with us, and we'll get her opinions as well. If you aren't already in the Facebook group, make sure you join it. The link will be in the show notes. So let's get into the episode.
Hello, ladies. Hello, everybody. We
Good
are
evening.
live. Welcome to the Love Pod. Not only is it myself and Jordan today, but we have a very special guest, Miss Olivia Kay. She is our #1 fan and Facebook group commenter out of 60-something thousand people.
Oh, wow.
Girl, you are on it, and you always
Yeah.
have the funniest posts. So we
Yeah.
wanted to bring you on to talk about this episode.
Oh, that's awesome.
We are excited to have you. Jordan, Brittany, Jordan, Olivia, are you ready to get into it, starting with Brittany and Kenneth, the honeymoon?
Oh my God. That's the funniest thing because that's the most recent post I made, but it hasn't been approved yet. But I was basically saying how I'm very, Kenneth made me very angry. Oh my God. And I'm sure he made
Okay.
a lot of people in America pissed.
Yes, that seems to be a popular sentiment. And I will get to the apartment scene in a minute, but
Yeah.
just the lack of physical touch, it seems like it could come from so many angles. Like, is it because they're waiting till marriage, so he wants to kind of hold off on any kind of affection? Is he just not paying attention? Is he not feeling her? And I don't know where it's coming from.
So I just thought because they both said they're Christians and they were waiting, for intimacy.
Right.
So I got off that notion like, oh, okay, they're probably trying to wait until, marriage and to consummate. But I didn't pick up on the fact that they're like, he was just so distant and cold. And then, it becomes very evident, like beginning of episode 7 and then especially 8. It's
Yeah,
like,
where
wow.
they get into the
Yikes.
apartments. I didn't see too many red flags until they were on the boat with
Me too.
them.
Mm-hmm.
But then I start seeing the foreshadowing of like not only AD talking about her raising Black children, but him bringing up friends and family would be an issue, if she didn't mesh well with the family. So I feel like there's a lot of hints there from the editing team, like, here's what's gonna happen, maybe, probably, definitely.
They did them dirty with the boat, though, because there was no need for them to put that much silence in that episode.
I feel like editing had something to do with it to an extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really the silence, the family discussion, the biracial children, like that's all really leading up to what happens with them later when we get to the apartments.
Right.
But then the next couple I have on the list is Chelsea and Jimmy. Now, I have a very different opinion on them, but let's start with you, Jordan.
You have a different opinion on them?
Than is most popular I've seen. Well, maybe not. We'll see.
So I'm trying really hard to be Team Chelsea because I like her personality on social media, but I'm finding it really difficult to be Team Chelsea right now because I want her to stop doing what she's doing so badly. I want her to just chill.
Yeah.
Stop trying to count these kisses, man. Like it's okay.
Come on.
I don't know, Chelsea.
I know it's rough and it gets so much worse as time goes on, but I think she's really self-sabotaging unintentionally, and she's such a sweet person. She's so interactive, like you said, Jordan, on social, but when it comes to that relationship, I don't know if because Jessica, like the idea of Jessica being the supermodel look is so intimidating to her, and she's a beautiful woman. She's so beautiful, but that's
very
intimidating.
Beautiful.
When he almost proposed to, he was on the fence for so long, that she needs that constant physical validation. But yeah, it's a lot. And at this point, I'm going to like asterisk this point. I didn't think Jimmy was that bad. I really did think he was paying attention to her and was trying to reassure her.
He was.
So I'm again only talking at the honeymoon, guys. Please don't come for me. But I did not think he was that bad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Jimmy, he's like I do feel like even in the newer episodes, I do feel like to an extent he was trying to kind of placate her, I guess, if you will. Like, obviously, he said a couple of things that maybe weren't ideal, but overall, I feel like he was trying to listen to her, like he's trying to kind of like reason with her, but I feel like it's almost like she doesn't want to be reasoned with at all.
Yeah, I don't
that's what
know
I'm
if
thinking too.
there's no convincing her short of like ripping her clothes off in front of the cameras that she is attractive enough, which this, we've seen some scenes that I did not want to see in previous seasons. So it's not too late. Let's move on. Speaking of physical appearances.
Oh boy, I know.
AD and Clay. Do you think he finds her attractive? How could he not find her attractive?
AD.
That girl is smoking. We know it. It was inappropriate.
Sure he does. I mean, that's what's keeping him going. Very.
I mean, everybody commenting on her body. We talked about it last week. And then I see a lot of comments in the Facebook group saying they don't think he finds her attractive. I don't really know where that's coming from. I don't see it. I think so too. What about you, Jordan?
What do you think he finds her attractive?
Yeah.
Yes.
I believe he does.
I think he finds her attractive, but I'm worried that might be all he does is find her attractive.
That's what I was thinking too. That's
okay.
Because he just comments on her physical. I mean, well, the last couple episodes, that's all I was focusing on. On just her looks, and it's like, but do you not see the substance to her? Like, it's not just her body. She's an awesome person. You can just kind of feel her warmth when you look at her.
Yeah, I know we don't see as much of them as we've seen from, I'll say, the most dramatic couples, but it does seem like there's some things that are going to come up, like his history growing up and his childhood and the relationships that he's seen that maybe play into this and why it's so hard for him to get emotional. It gives me vague recollections of Jessica and Mark in the pods in season 1, where he recreated a pod for her by going into a separate room for a date. And like she couldn't emotionally connect unless there was a wall there. That's kind of what it reminds me of. Like they need to recreate the pod experience to have those deeper conversations.
Well, and it's like we have that segment where they're like talking, we're with his mom and his sister, and he's talking about his job and about like not coming home some nights.
Oh, yeah.
All this like schedule stuff. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, they have a huge difference of opinion there. And again, I wonder what these people talk about in the pods, because it seems like there's these huge like life altering differences of opinion that if you're talking about marrying somebody, maybe you want to talk politics or living styles or cleanliness or staying out all night or sleeping out somewhere else. Those seem like some pretty important things. Maybe the show should give them some prompts.
Though. That's true. That's why I'm even surprised that even came up in that, like what Jordan said, like that when Clay's mom and sister were there. It's like, why is that being brought up now? Like that should have been discussed right before you proposed to her. And it was kind of awkward even watching the interaction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That seems like a big issue because, there's couples that live apart. There's couples that are together all the time. But if you want somebody who's coming home to you every night and that person hates driving, which seems to be the case here, and just doesn't want to deal with it and sleep separately, either there's a trust issue there or she doesn't buy that he's really where he says he's going to be, or they just want different things out of relationships. And that's my take on that.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know what I think about them as far as, of course, there's still episodes yet to be seen, but right now I don't really know what to think about them as far as like who's gonna say yes at the altar. I feel like yeah, go
I will
ahead.
give, yeah, because I was going to say I will give Clay some credit because it seems like he he's trying to make an effort to connect to AD a little more, and he's talking like it's not just about AD's booty or whatever. He's
Yeah.
really he opened up about like his past, which I can appreciate, which I like.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping we can see more of that the next coming episodes.
Yeah, and I think it's great he wants to do couples therapy. I have a roller coaster with Clay. On to Amy and Johnny.
Amy and Johnny are like so I mean, I really like them. I really do.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the meetup with Johnny's family. Like it felt like really natural. Like I liked his family and stuff. I liked it. I know there's been a ton of posts about their whole birth control
Oh,
issue
yeah, let's get
on
into that.
the Facebook group because I've denied like a bunch of them because like it just keeps happening like over and over
It's
again.
too much.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't know. Like
So I think every woman has their choice of what they want to do to their body. And if she doesn't want to go on birth control, that's her choice. And with the whole vasectomy thing was a little kind of off for me because I understand it's reversible too. Like, but then why not try the condom though? So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think?
It didn't seem to me like he seems almost like so naive and innocent in a way that maybe he doesn't realize the effects of the hormones and the side effects of birth control on a woman's body. And so for him, it's like, well, you just take a pill and then you just magically don't get pregnant. And if we're in a relationship, we're not sleeping with anybody else, so we don't have to worry about STDs. And maybe this needs to be a whole separate episode. Like birth control really does change a lot mood wise, not personality, you're still who you are. I've tried various birth controls over the years. And it impacts your hormones, your health. It can make you feel great. It can make you feel crappy. And it's different for everybody. So it's not as simple as just taking a pill and then you move on with your day. I get that a vasectomy isn't simple either. It's a medical procedure. But I feel, again, I don't understand why condoms are such a big deal. But I think to him, he just doesn't understand the impact of birth control. And maybe they'll go to a gynecologist and they could explain it to them a little bit more. So it's a little clear to him, but that's what I get. Yeah.
Right.
Learning moment.
He seems just like so like completely afraid of having a child. Like he is terrified of the possibility of having a child.
Right. Which is fine, but don't throw out having birth control pills like it's, you just ran to the store and picked up a gallon of milk. It's way more complicated than that. And I'm all for it if you want to be on birth control, but I'm all for it. I understand how difficult it can be to find the right one and to deal with the side effects. And so I think that's just maybe a lack of awareness and understanding on his end. I don't think there's any ill intent.
I think so too.
I hope they can get past it because I'm rooting for them. Now that Ken and Brittany are out of the race, they are the only hope that I have left. So,
right? I don't blame you there. I don't blame you there.
Maybe unless some of the other couples, like if we see a Trevor, Jess, or who knows. I don't know what's coming this season. Let's move on to Laura and Jeremy.
Oh, man.
All right, Jordan.
That's a hot topic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying not to jump the gun to like obviously the last episode.
Okay. So we're going to go back to the honeymoons and the fight in the hotel room about how he embarrassed her. She just meant it as the bean dip as a joke. He didn't know what it meant when she said it. And that's this part of the interaction. before
I
we
thought
get
they-
back to the apartments.
I thought they did a decent job communicating with like kind of dealing with that whole fight. I felt like they did a good job because I remember watching either episode 7 or episode 8 and being like, okay, like I could kind of get behind this. Like I'm starting to like them. And then of course that all came crashing down. But you know, there for a minute I thought, you know what, maybe they have potential, but then I changed my mind. So what do you think?
But I think, I mean, so as terms of as them as a couple, I mean, yeah, it's good they had that little communication for a while, but I don't know. They're such a forgettable couple. That's how how I
Really?
think about it. They're
Oh,
so forgettable. They were, and then that whole bean dip thing. Yeah, that was nuts.
I will say
I don't know.
she's a lot. And I
She is
feel
a
like
lot.
he goes back into his shell, it seems like, whenever she
Mhm.
is joking, because maybe she's pushing a little too hard there, like constantly bringing up the Hawaiian shirts. And I did not like her reaction to, like, she really incited the bean dip thing. She should not have brought it up at all.
She did.
And not knowing what it means. If he genuinely didn't know, he doesn't know he's doing anything wrong. He thinks it's a joke between them. And he apologized. And I thought that should have been good from there. But it keeps coming up later. And it's like, these people, I get it. Everybody's human. Relationships are different. And I don't know if producers are kind of forcing the situations, but bringing up the most inappropriate things at the inappropriate times, like, you know, talking about sex
Yeah.
with the friends or like insulting somebody in front of the family. It's just it's a little rough to watch.
Didn't she also bring up Sarah Ann when he was meeting her family?
Well, that's the one thing I want to touch on with Jeremy, because he mentioned that to Amy about how he wants to still be friends with Sarah Ann, and I'm just thinking,
Right.
but you're a fiance though, so why are you worried about Sarah Ann for?
I can see the curiosity. These guys have dated through a wall for, you know, a week or two.
Yeah.
I think it's like 10 days. They have these really strong connections up into
Yeah.
the last minute. So that curiosity, I can definitely see and would be understanding. If I want to say that if I were in their position and my fiance told me, hey, I just want to feel things out or, you know, talk to or have closure with this other person. If you were dating somebody for 2 weeks in the real world, you would not be like, no, that's not okay. And I get it. They're engaged. They're supposed to be married in a month. But look at what happened with Zach and Bliss. Look at, you know.
That's fair too. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you don't know. And then the true colors really are starting to come out more than they did in the pods. I think you see completely different sides of people once they leave and get into the honeymoons in the apartments. But yeah.
It's not to interrupt you, but it's like just viewing this season as a whole, and I'm just wondering if these people are purposely being mismatched with their partners, like they're purposely choosing the wrong people, because it's not just, you know, Jeremy and Laura who I feel are mismatched. I feel like everyone else is mismatched with the exception of Amy and Johnny.
And that's just life, right? Like we pick the partners a lot of the time, whether it's toxic friends or relationships with somebody, you know, like loving the chase or looking for a certain quality. Again, like I keep going back to Zach and Bliss, but like Zach really thought Irina was, his one. And she really seemed like she was just doing it to move on to the next stage and stay on screen as long as she could. And so you just don't know. It doesn't matter if you spend 24/7 in a pod. You just don't know somebody's true intentions and true personality until you get out into real life with them, which I think we should do right now. They come back from the Dominican Republic. They are no longer in New Mexico, their new honeymoon vacation destination. And I feel like this was so rushed. It felt like they literally just moved into the apartments and Kenneth and Brittany crashed and burned within 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm. They really
Yeah.
did.
I feel like I missed something real drastic there because she's unpacking her stuff. And then all of a sudden they're in the kitchen talking about how she's not attracted to him and he won't get off his phone. Like, what? Did they live together for like a week and then this conversation came up? Or did she put her toothbrush out? At what point did this happen?
It was a very calm, like, really, like, as I was watching it, I was like, surely this is not them breaking up, because it was such a
Right?
just a calm conversation. Like, to
Yeah.
me, it was like almost like a moment for them to kind of be like, okay, here's what we're dealing with. Now we're gonna fix it. But instead, they were just like, okay, well, this isn't gonna work, so I'll go. Like,
They gave up too easily. I feel like
Yeah.
he definitely gave up too easily.
I think it was both of them, because if that's something that she genuinely wanted and she felt like she wasn't feeling that spark with him, I can't imagine that she wouldn't try to make it happen. Like, I don't think she would have just been like, oh, you know what, I'm not feeling it, I'm leaving, and put it on him. I think she was trying to ask, like, hey, I'm not feeling it, but didn't actually straight out ask, what can we do about it? Wasn't clearly communicating and just kind of left it waffling. So to me,
I
when
guess I see
everybody,
your point.
you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, he was like, okay, I guess it's over. Okay. So maybe they talked about it beforehand, but people are coming hard for Kenneth in the group. And I know he should not have been on his phone. I'm not saying that
I'm
that's
coming
right.
very hard. Yeah.
oh, hold on, I have something.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
I have this that we can pull this up. I think this is
Beautiful.
the right time for this. But
It's the perfect time.
Perfect.
there's,
Oh.
there have been posts
upon posts
that have
upon
been
posts.
that have been defending it. And sure, but you are being filmed, sir. You are being filmed for a reality show. Put your phone down. Now's
But
not the time.
Yeah, that's exactly my point, though. Because listen, I understand principals have things to do. They're managing the school, the curriculum.
Oh, he wasn't texting any principal business. Come on now.
That's what I'm thinking. But then that's what people kept saying, and I'm just like, yeah, I get that. But if that's the case, he could have just said to Brittany, like, hey, I need to do A, B, and Z. Let me do this real quick, and then I'll help you with do this or whatever, or we'll watch something, whatever. But I don't know if editing had something to do with it too at the same time. But I mean, I'm only going off by what we've seen, and at the end of the day, he looked like he was very attached to his phone and he wouldn't put it down.
Checked out. Yeah,
He just checked out.
Yeah. I have moments, and I've called out my boyfriend on them too, where like we're having a conversation, but like one of us is doing something else at the same time, like he's emailing, or I might be messaging with Jordan or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But we've been dating for 2 years now. And so it's different than if we had just been on our first date. I wouldn't be like, hold on, I'm going to send an email. They are essentially in like their first week of dating while being engaged.
I know.
So just put the phone in a lockbox, not even for the cameras, but because you want to get to know this person that you're supposed to marry. And I don't know, like maybe his text was more important than figuring out who his future wife was going to be. So he figured he might as well end the relationship.
Probably.
Man, yeah. It could be editing, but it didn't look good. It didn't look good for Ken. And like, even it just seemed like as soon as they got there, Brittany started unpacking and he's just sitting on the bed, just looking at his phone. And that really should have been a moment where they were like unpacking together, like figuring out whose stuff goes where. That's kind of like,
that's what couples do when they move in. Exactly.
Part of this whole thing. But he's just like sitting on the phone. And then he's like, oh, I'm going to go downstairs and probably sit on my phone some more. Like
it seems like he was kind of checked out already. But I will say, my favorite seasons of the show is always the first season. And I watched for a very long time Married at First Sight. Yeah. Jamie and Doug, who are one of the original couples, have now been married 10 years. Her reaction is probably the most memorable. So She sees Doug and she's immediately not attracted to him. And she's crying in the corner of the ceremony hall, not wanting to go through with the wedding.
Oh,
And
no.
she like isn't really touching him, and their wedding pictures are so awkward. But then they go on the honeymoon, and she really starts to build this sense of trust with him, and then the passion kind of grows. Now they have 2 kids. She just announced that she's pregnant with her 3rd. They had
That's
just celebrated
sweet.
their 10th anniversary. So if the attraction isn't there, you can totally overcome that. But you have to
That's
be
true.
like, somebody has to be willing to try, and somebody has to be willing to speak up and say like, no, I didn't mean let's end it. I meant let's work on it. But they both kind of seemed checked out at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, on to AD and Clay again. I love, again, I'll say couples therapy, I think is such a good idea for all of these couples. I feel like it should be mandatory, like it is with Married at First Sight, for them to check in with the pastor or the
I would agree with that.
sociologist. Yeah, I think, not that it helps on Married at First Sight. Like, it never really seems to impact their decisions in a positive way. They don't have the best track record on Married at First Sight, but
Right.
just because it doesn't work for them doesn't mean it couldn't work for us. I mean, maybe it'll work for Love is
That's
Blind.
true.
I'll just quote a little Arrested Development there.
I really think it would be a good idea.
I
I think
know.
it'd be great.
Guys,
Yeah.
Kinetic, please call us. We've got ideas for you.
We've
We
got
can't help you
notes.
with them, but we do have notes. What else did you guys think about once they moved in and meeting the family? We talked a little bit about this, but
I feel like that's what I said earlier is all I had to say about it. They're not super memorable to me from this week's episodes for some reason. I don't know if that's,
I
don't
think
know.
it barely showed them. That's what it is.
Yeah.
yeah, the less drama, I feel like the less they're featured. It's like, if you see
Yeah.
more of your favorite couple, you should be worried.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Laura and Jeremy moving into the apartment. Also not super notable. Picking
Well,
on his
except
shirts
for
again.
Jeremy's or house. Is it a house or an apartment?
Home.
Somebody had a
Let's go
house.
with home.
Someone had a house. Okay. Jeremy's house being so immaculate. And so,
Yeah.
which, we have things to discuss about Jeremy, but
Yeah, we do.
his house was immaculate. Which, most people think his mom cleaned it, but
I would get a maid, or I would do a deep clean if I knew a camera crew was coming into my house.
same.
I would be on the floor with the scrub brush at the baseboards, which I never do. I don't care if the queen's coming over, but if camera crew's coming over, like, yeah, I'm gonna get down and dirty. And then seeing last season and Izzy's hidden drawer of abandoned girl.
Oh my God.
We're not
I
doing
would
that
be making
again.
sure that, yeah, my shit didn't stink either once you got into my house. So that wasn't too shocking. I'm surprised more people don't do that. I mean, again, I'm Married at First Sight. I hate to keep comparing, but they dig through, like, they go through their homes and stuff before they match them. And like, they go through everything. So you got to hide that dirty laundry somewhere good, because they're going to find it.
Right.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know they did that.
I don't know if they still do. I haven't watched religion like consistently in a few seasons, but they used to. I mean, they went through cabinets, they went through underwear drawers. Like, yeah, it was Dr. Pepper showed no mercy when she was doing the home tours.
Okay, interesting.
That would have been useful for Cole in season 3. Do you remember his freaking apartment? Oh my God.
Oh yeah, was it his? It was like a frat house and like the futon. Yeah,
it was a frat house. There were the gnats in the toilet. It was crazy.
Oh
yeah,
I do remember that.
To be fair,
and that's the thing, they really.
Yeah. Like, I love my boyfriend so much. He's incredible. But if I did not clean this house and like pick things up, you would see like underwear in the living room and a toothbrush like in the kitchen, I don't know. He just is a hot mess. He would have like mismatched furniture and,
Yeah.
live off paper plates, Izzy.
Izzy, oh my
It's
God.
the bachelor lifestyle of like, this is good enough and I don't really have to worry about somebody else. But I'm glad at least both Jeremy and Laura are neat freaks, because at least then they have something in common.
That's true, right?
And I didn't really have too much about them until the big moment anyway. All I said was I thought that his mom's
Yeah.
note was really cute. And yeah, his apartment looks staged.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
It does look safe.
Chelsea and Jimmy. All right. So now it's getting worse. We're having a hard time, Chelsea. We love you, but it's a lot. And then it's almost like Jimmy gives me some Cole vibes too, where he's putting his foot in his mouth unintentionally, and he doesn't
That's a
mean,
pattern.
yeah, like he doesn't mean it the way she takes it. And she takes it to a completely different level, and they're having two completely different conversations. So I think their communication just really sucks at this point. And
It
when
is
he
terrible.
yeah, like even the reassurance he's trying to give, he's giving her what she wants, but it's not clinginess level.
It is.
But then I thought it was funny that his friends say that he loves clingy. So maybe she needs to play harder to get and he'll run the other way. There's some weird dynamics going on there. What do you got, Jordan?
I don't, other than what I said before, I just I was thinking about when he was talking about her like initiating and was like, I maybe want less of that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was more of a sarcastic comment. Like,
Yeah.
not that he really wants that, but like, well, if we're giving up this, then I'm going to give up that. And let's get into this competition of who can outplay, outlast the no touching game. I don't think it was a serious slight, because then they do talk in depth about their sex life later on. But more, I think, foot in the mouth stuff. But when Chelsea said that Jimmy was causing the problems, girl, no, he's causing a lot of problems in the future. We know it's coming, but not right now. He's telling you everything you want to hear. You're just not listening.
That's a funny thing too, because last week I made it clear that I was so anti Jimmy, and I was like, no, I'm already getting bad vibes about this dude. He's not good. He's no good. You guys are going to mark my words. You guys are going to see it. And then Chelsea just really upset me too. She made me have to defend him because she really was out of line. And to be honest, I think she was clingy. She really overdid it.
Yeah.
She just was like, take a breath, like relax. He's doing everything and I can't believe I'm defending him. I'll say this all over. I'm like, but he's really trying here.
In these specific instances, yeah. Like, you're not defending him as a whole on the show. You're saying in this case when they're arguing in the apartment. Yeah, I get
in
it.
this case. Yeah, I have to. Yeah.
Yeah, and people are dynamic. Like, it's okay to change your mind. I mean, with us as fans, I feel like once somebody jumps on one team, like if they're team Jimmy, they're ride or die team Jimmy, no matter what he does. Or if they're team Chelsea, they're team Chelsea, no matter what she does. And it's okay to change your mind. And there are shades of gray, and not everybody's perfect. So you're going to agree with some things Chelsea does, and you're going to agree with some things Jimmy does.
I know.
And that's okay. It's okay to have.
But that's the beauty of the show, to have that nuance. Yeah.
And I want to remind everybody, while we're on this shit talking train, we love doing this. It is so much fun. We love having you in the group, Olivia. You bring so much to it. And everybody really does. I can't believe it's grown as big as it has. But please stop DMing the cast. Stop telling them that you wish they would die or saying horrible things.
I think that's too much.
Yeah. I'm not saying you. I'm saying like people who are fans of this show. and leave it in the group. We let a lot fly that we could restrict in the group. There's no need to call out somebody's sexuality, race, like, and then you are the most unhinged if you're going and telling these people you've never met in your life, who you've seen probably 10 minutes of out of 6 weeks, to die, or what a terrible person they are. It is ridiculous. So please, this is my PSA. Yeah, we're going to talk some trash and we're going to, give our opinions about the different cast members, but don't come for them. They're real people. How would you like it if somebody on the street walked by and just told you to die? What?
That's crazy. Yeah.
It's a lot. And I've seen some DMs and I'm like, these poor, even people who, we would think got like the villain edit. And I'm like, oh, okay. No, I actually love you. You're a pretty cool person in real life. You kind of were trashy, but we get into the other love triangle of Laura, Sarah, and Jeremy. And what do you guys think of Sarah DMing Laura's man?
Well, it's what you said earlier. Like, it's that curiosity, right? But I don't know. I feel like he should have a loyalty to, even though Laura, I'm not a big fan of her. Period. Not since episode 6. But he has a loyalty, and I mean, if he really was out there to fight, talking to her and to Sarah Ann and whatnot, I mean, yeah.
Sarah Ann DMing him when she obviously knew he was engaged to someone else is not good behavior. That's like
breaking girl code.
But that's even worse than like Jessica, because she's made all these comments like, oh, when he sees me, he's gonna regret his choice or whatever. But that's way worse to go as far as DMing the person and being like, if you're not confident in your choice, it's sketchy behavior. And then, I mean, I guess, we'll get into the whole they were out until 5 a.m. thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We keep teasing it. We're getting close. Next couple, Amy and Johnny, it's like, I don't have anything. They're adorable. That's all I can say. I hope because they are really giving them like the royal treatment. I hope they're not setting us up for disappointment.
Yeah.
Because sometimes Netflix like to give it and then they like to take it away.
And they are just, because there's not a lot to say about them, because I feel like we've had like maybe one small point of contention and that's it. And they're not on the screen that much. It's kind of like Clay and AD aren't on the screen that much. So I don't know. I really like them though. But who knows?
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about them either. I mean, not really.
Okay.
I think they're good. They're solid.
Yeah. I hope so. Chelsea and Jimmy. Here we go again. This is a merry-go-round I want to get off of. She gets so mad at him when he leaves, when she said she was going to leave. She doesn't know where the clinginess came from. Everything she is saying, I want you to jump through the screen and tell her, oh, take a breath. Okay. Listen, seriously. Like let your mind and your mouth sync up maybe. I understand being heated and being insecure, but this is like all over the board. She's picking on him a lot. Okay. She's airing all of his dirty laundry, telling not only his friends, but America he cried during sex.
Oh my God, that was a bit much.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. And it's not that I care, but I feel bad for him.
I know.
Men are just starting to make strides in mental health. Let's not publicly embarrass them on a nationwide platform.
Yes, agreed.
It's too much. And going into depth with the friends, like, do you think we saw the preview for next week? So when she's talking about him screwing somebody else, who do you think that person is? Jordan.
I think that people are on to something with her maybe accusing him of it being one of the friends, because that makes more sense to me. To me, that makes more sense than Jessica. I just think, I don't know, like, I think it's going to be like them, they're going to argue. He's going to, like, I don't know, maybe talk about his female friends too much, and that's going to really, like, play into her insecurity. And maybe, I don't know, maybe she picked up on something during their meeting, you know? I really think people are onto something. Could be wrong, but I
What
don't know.
about you,
What do you think?
Olivia? Who's your money on
I
for?
because I was saying Jessica, and I kept saying, oh, she better not like do anything with Jimmy. It's not like you had all this speech, rah rah rah, like you're going to choke, and you had that moment, and for you to then open up your legs, and like why? But then the thing is, I always get my gossip tip from the grapevine, and then like what you were just saying, Jordan, about the friend, I'm like, you know what? That actually does make sense. That really does, and I even think that was even Seth that brought his friends instead of his parents. So I don't know what's going on with that kind of relationship there.
With no explanation, my thought was he brought his friends instead of his parents because maybe his parents just do not approve of this whole situation, but they don't explain it at all. So we're only left to wonder. I agree with you guys that he maybe slept with one of his friends, but what I think happened is it happened before he went on the show, but maybe recently, and didn't tell her ahead of time. And then she found out. And so now she has become friendly with these women. She started bonding with them. And then she's realizing they were really comfortable talking about how Jimmy is in the bedroom. So maybe it all starts to click with her.
That's interesting. That makes sense. Yeah. Didn't think of it that way.
Maybe it's not what it appears to be, but maybe it is. Maybe they slept together while him and Chelsea are together. I don't see him being that big of a dirtbag, but who knows? Who knows? Speaking of dirtbags, Jeremy and Laura.
Big dirtbag. Yeah.
I feel for her because staying out till 5 a.m. with your very recent ex, lying about your location, gaslighting by saying, well, I gave you the location, so you know I wasn't doing anything. But he looked at it, Jeremy.
Right. Yeah.
But when he met her family and he's trying to be so kind and so complimentary, and she's picking on him and picking on him. She's talking about how he doesn't have a college degree, bringing up the love triangle in front of her family, bringing up his shirts.
Who does that?
It's too much. And she always has it in the context of joking. And it reminds me of when somebody's like, yeah, well, I just tell the truth. There's a way to tell the truth without being an asshole about it. And she's not doing that. And again, the TMI, unnecessary to talk about the love triangle in front of your families. Like, that's not okay. Leave your family out of your relationship. I understand they're catching up on things, but it wasn't even in the context of like, oh, he stayed out with her till 5 a.m. There was nothing known that point that made him look bad. It made Sarah Ann look bad because she had reached out to him.
Right.
But it wasn't, it was unnecessary. I thought I'm struggling with Sarah Ann. And if she brings up the Hawaiian shirts one more time, I don't like them either. I don't like the shirts that my boyfriend wears. He wears weird Halloween, crazy bands, Frankenstein not Frankenstein, the monsters like holding each other's boobs. Wears weird stuff. He's a grown adult. Not my favorite, but that's what he wants to wear. I don't love him any less.
Exactly.
And she did mention like though the cons were so much shorter than the pros, which is great, but then stop bringing it up. Zip it. Okay.
Yeah.
But then, as we know, we found out, okay, Olivia, if you were Laura and Jeremy came to you and said, I was in the parking lot. He admits to talking to Sarah Ann, but he says we were strictly talking. I told you my location, but you know that he moved. What do you think happened? Do you trust his story?
I just walked away, honestly, because at the end of the day, he clearly had a connection with her too, and who knows what they were doing. And honestly, you shouldn't have any business being out with someone else at 5 a.m.
Right. Doesn't matter who it is.
Right.
All
And the
right.
fact that she was able to say that he was in her neighborhood, in Sarah Ann's neighborhood. I don't know how you're going to get out of this one, Jeremy.
Right. Just saying that your location is on is not enough.
Yeah.
You know that woman's going to check your location. If you give me the cookie, I'm going to eat the cookie. Like
Yes.
I don't automatically trust you because you said, "Hey, trust me." That doesn't build trust. You have to actually use your actions to build that trust. And he is in trouble, and he doesn't want to talk about it on camera. He kept saying he doesn't want to talk about it. He's just trying to reassure her that nothing happened. It's just the worst look. I don't understand how he's gonna get himself out of this one. And I don't even know that he really wants to. I feel like maybe this is his, I don't want to break up with you and be the bad guy, but I'll drive you to your breaking point so that you break up with me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And okay. And I don't want to dwell on it too much because this is obviously, social media, but the whole thing that, Jeremy was engaged before going on the show.
Oh, yeah.
That we've seen come up.
Now, not everybody knows about this. So, Jordan, do you want to explain the backstory to this a little bit?
Yeah, I can pull up the post if that's okay.
Yeah.
I have it up. I have it up.
For those
that
who
way
can't
reference it.
see, it's a picture of a woman with Jeremy posing as the couple, it looks like, with a little boy whose face is blurred out. So,
and
Jordan, explain the backstory with that.
So this is from a Facebook post. It's not in our group. It didn't originate from our group. It came from another group. So Jeremy's alleged ex-fiance's mom posted this in a Facebook group. Basically, it says someone was engaged and living with someone when applying for this. So she is accusing that Jeremy was engaged to and living with her daughter and grandson when he applied to be on the show.
And to play devil's advocate, I'm not saying that I'm okay with this. I'm just going to play devil's advocate. If they were living together, but really only convenience purposes, or they had pretty much broken up and he knew he wanted to be committed, but it just wasn't his person, and they were clear in communicating about it, then okay, whatever. So you applied for the show. You guys know it's over. What if mom didn't know? Because you don't want to tell your parents every little dirty detail about your relationship. Some people don't even tell their parents they're getting divorced until the 11th hour. So maybe mama didn't know and is protecting her daughter by showing this side of Jeremy. I'm not saying this isn't his side of Jeremy. It very well could be. It's kind of trending like this is his MO. But
it seems like it.
Mom is saying that, yeah, he applied to the show when they were still together. They broke up at like the end of 2022 and he was on the show in 2023. So it seems like, yeah, he has a history of just popping from one woman to the next and a serial monogamist, I guess you could call him. But again, that's just devil's advocate. Maybe the situation isn't as clear cut as it looks, because we also, we haven't verified. We don't know this woman from a hole in the wall. If it really is this girl's mom who was Jeremy's ex-fiance, we don't know, but this is a popular post going out there.
And I agree with you. I think that, to me, I think that they were probably broken up. Either they were probably broken up before he applied for the show, or at least he knew they were going to break up before he applied to be on the show. I don't think there's any way someone would be actively engaged to someone and apply to be on a dating reality show. as far as the mom posting this, I'm curious if she got her daughter's permission to post it.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know. I don't know.
And I want to quickly, as we're wrapping this up, because we're pretty much at the end of the episodes now. I thought we were getting more than 3, but so be it. If you want spoilers, and I am talking spoilers, you'll know who ended up getting married, who ended up cheating, if anybody, who dated each other afterwards, who's going on Perfect Match. Everything you could possibly want to know, you will find out in this 2-minute TikTok from the account Storytime with Ricky. That's Ricky with 2 Ks and 2 Is. RIKKII. We'll drop a link in the comments, but I am telling you, you will be spoiled. I cannot say that clearly enough. I now know everything that happened in this season. I didn't necessarily want to, but for research purposes, it was necessary. So she's got some side of like reality Steve connection with somebody at Love is Blind because she knows it. So check out that TikTok. If you haven't, join the Facebook group where that TikTok is posted. I think it's called something like Love is Blind, The Ultimatum, and other reality dating shows. We try to be inclusive of every reality show, but we're mostly Love is Blind. That's what we're here for. Did anybody have any final comments about these episodes before I get into the announcements?
Well,
Go ahead.
I do. It was really nice talking with you guys because like now
you
I
too.
kind of have a different perspective. Yeah, and then because when I'm watching this, I just have one mind. I'm thinking about going off with what I see, and I'm not thinking about the other argument of things. So you definitely opened my eyes.
Good.
You open my eyes with a lot of things. I'm like, maybe I should just start seeing things in a different perspective.
No, you know what? Do you? We have so much fun in the group. That's what it's for. And it's good to hear other perspectives, but at the end of the day, we weren't there, so we don't know what was really going on. Maybe everything was sunshine and roses with the villains, and it was the opposite with the people who are getting really good appearances on there. Yeah. And thank you for coming on, Olivia.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. We had fun talking to you.
Yeah. And before
Absolutely. It was a blast.
So we have 2 big announcements before we go. Jordan, do you want to talk about our next interview?
Okay. You want the next one that's going to be the next
aired and the next one that we're actually doing.
Okay, so our next aired interview, we interviewed Josh Simmons from season 5 of Love is Blind, and Dina got to talk to him about his engagement, which was not shown on the show, but lots of cool stuff, getting some secret insights, some unheard stories. And then our next active recording, we are recording with Taylor, right? From season 5.
We're doing Vince first. So we're doing
Vince first. Okay.
From season 6, who you guys did not see, but he did date somebody who was pretty featured on the show.
Ooh,
and went on vacation with them. Wow. So we'll have that is the actual recording. And then Taylor
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, Taylor's coming up from season 5, who gave the ring back before they left Mexico. So we're gonna have Taylor on. And then the other announcement is big. I'm so excited about this. We're still working out the logistics, but we have season 5 on board to do a Love is Blind Battle of the Seasons. We are going to get seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 together in teams of 4 to 5 on Zoom or StreamYard, whatever. They are going to compete head-to-head in teams, Family Feud style, for one championship, one champion season. We are going to sell tickets to the show. You're going to be able to interact with the cast after. And then the tickets to the show, all the proceeds are going to go to the animal rescue of the team's choice. So if Trevor's on, we'll donate funds if they win to, Trevor's rescue that he fosters with. Same for Chris from season 5. We've got Stacy on board from season 5. So I'm really excited. This is going to be a huge undertaking. If you have a favorite cast member that you'd like to see representing their season in this battle of the seasons, please leave us a comment and let us know, because we'll try to reach out to them. And Jordan, do you want to plug our socials?
Yep, we are at the LovePod Podcast everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We are putting out recap episodes for Love is Blind right now. Every week, we're trying to get them out as fast as we can after the episodes come out. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of that.
And please rate us 5 stars.
Okay.
Last time I said that, somebody gave us a 4-star rating, and it was so mean. We're trying so hard. Don't rate us if you don't like us. Don't do anything.
Wow.
Don't take the extra step and say no. Please, you're breaking my heart. This is a labor of love. This is Love is Blind. All right, that's my soapbox statement.
All right.
Guys, I'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe to the Love Pod wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss our upcoming episode recaps and interviews. Thanks for listening. See you guys next time.